Today we have the privilege of having Reverend Andrea Ferarri speaking with us about his work. It's a joy to have you, brother. Thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity, Rich. And it's good to have this occasion to speak about our country and share some information with our people in our sister churches.
Very good. Maybe we could begin, Andrea, with just a little bit of background. You've been a pastor, a missionary for a long time. You've been in different places in Italy. And maybe you could tell us, where have you been in Italy? Where have you lived in Italy?
After I graduated, I was first ordained, and I began the pastoral ministry in 1992.
Okay.
And at that time I was not yet married. I was very young, and I married after 7 months with Christina, and I spent the first 10 years in the ministry in the island of Sicily in the south. And then in July 2002, we moved to Milan with our 2 sons, Simone and Daniele. And I've been serving the church Philadelphia in Milan for 16 years, almost 16 years, from July 2002 through May 2018. And we began with only 6 families in Milan, about the same number we have now in Perugia. And thankfully, we were enabled to experience a measure of growth. In fact, when I left the church Philadelphia to move to Perugia, we had 52 members.
Wonderful.
In the church. And so it was an enriching experience laboring in Milan. Some challenges, but many joys and many motives to be grateful. And so
wonderful.
The 16 years passed very quickly.
Yeah. Now, you've been in Perugia. Could you just kind of place that on a map for us? How far is that from Milan? You've been there 2 years, right?
Almost 2 years. We arrived the 7th of June 2018. And we moved from Milan, which is in the north of Italy. We moved south. Perugia is in the region of Umbria, and it is located about 550 kilometers south of Milan. You can see the city of Perugia itself. Perugia is a city of almost 200,000 people, and it is the main city of the region of Umbria, which counts almost 1 million people. Of course, we are the only Reformed church in the region, and even evangelical churches are very few in this area of Italy. According to my estimation, there are no more than 20 evangelical churches in the whole region of Umbria. That's the historic city of Perugia, built on a hill, and the historic city is just 5 minutes away from our church building. And our church building is the next place where we are going.
So Perugia historically has always been much influenced by Roman Catholicism and the power of the papacy. The walls surrounding the city was built by Emperor Augustus, and that gate is called Etruscans Gate.
Wow.
And you can still see it.
You've been there 2 years now. What has your experience been? What are some of the challenges that you face in ministry as you seek to establish a new work? You mentioned you have about 5 or 6 families. Maybe just give us a little background on that.
Yes, Umbria is a region in central Italy. It is one of the smallest regions, and there are about almost 1 million people living in the whole region. And Perugia itself is the main city of Umbria. There are almost 200,000 people living. There is a university. And counting the surrounding cities and towns, the population of Perugia itself and around it is of around 300,000 people.
So what percentage is Christian?
Well, officially around 90% is nominally Roman Catholic.
Okay.
The Protestants and evangelicals are very, very few. I made a research when I arrived, and it seems that in the whole region of Umbria, there are less than 1,000 Protestant evangelical Christians. The churches are less than 20. I mean, the Protestant and evangelical churches are less than 20, and the majority of them are Pentecostal or charismatics. So
if we look at the entire country, how many Reformed churches are there in the entire country? How many groups would you say there are?
Only 2 churches confessing the 3 forms. And then I would say maybe 3 or 4 Presbyterian church plants. I'm not sure because I don't have any updated information, but I know at least 2 confessional missionaries from the PCA laboring in Italy. There are maybe 15, 20 Baptist churches that are Calvinistic in doctrine.
What would you say your biggest challenge has been in Perugia?
Well, for the first 18 months, the biggest challenge was to know the place, the geography of the place, and starting to understand the culture and the way in which people think and how they feel. For example, in order to do that, Christina and I joined a walking group in a town nearby, and every Thursday evening we spend about a couple of hours walking with 30, 40, at times 50 other people.
Great.
Just to meet people, to make friends, to relate personally with people.
Are they wary of outsiders? Would they see you as an outsider, having lived in Milan? Is there that dynamic going on?
Well, at the beginning there was. The people here in Umbria are not very open at first. They are quite reserved, but as they say, when they open up to you, they give you their hearts. So it might be a little difficult at first to win the confidence and the friendship of people, but once you do, there are many possibilities to share the gospel. Just to give you an example, one lady from this walking group came to help Christina when we moved to the new home, and she helped Christina to do the cleanings.
Oh, very nice.
And that was very encouraging to us, because as I said, people can be a little, detached.
Yeah.
But and all these people know that I am a pastor, that they know that we are Protestant Christians. So the biggest challenge was to begin to know the area, to understand how people think and feel, starting to establish personal relationships.
Yeah, that's always the challenge, right? Church planting is getting past that initial fear that people have, and to make those good contacts. You do have services on Sundays. Could you talk about the activities you have going right now?
Well, right now with the coronavirus, we only have a meeting on Sunday morning, about 1 hour, 50 minutes, 60 minutes. We use the Facebook page of our church. Mm-hmm. And then throughout the week, we have 3 more meetings. And in these meetings, we use Zoom. So the people not only listen to my meditations and prayers, but we can also speak together. We can also tell each other how things are going. We can share prayer requests. So on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., we have this meeting. And the encouraging thing is that there are people who are joining us from southern Italy, northern Italy, from Scotland. There is an Italian family from Scotland that share in our meetings. And we also have a family from Canada.
Really? Wonderful. Wonderful. That is really cool.
It's a family. The man, the head of the family, moved to Canada when he was a 5 years old child.
Wow.
So we also have a family from Canada. Usually, before the coronavirus, we had a midweek meeting, usually on Wednesdays, late in the afternoon, for Bible study and prayer. And on Sunday, we have a divine service at 10 a.m. And we have a break around 11:15 or so. And then at 11:45, we have a class in which we are studying the Belgic Confession.
Okay, very good. How many people in your church are working? I know Italy's been hit very hard with coronavirus right now. Are the members in your church, are they able to work still, or or are there a lot of people with late?
We have three families, and the head of these three families, they can continue to work at this time because
Wonderful.
two of them have their office at home because they are computer programmers, and the third man is a truck driver, and he has been able to continue to work even though a little less than usual.
Wonderful.
Our ladies are married with non-Christian husbands, and two of them are widows, so they didn't have any difficulty because they were not working even before the coronavirus.
Very good. Now, your area has not been as hard hit as other places in Italy. Thankfully for you, you're still in lockdown, I assume. So you're not able to go out very much. There's not been near the number of deaths there. Is that right?
Yes, Umbria, thankfully, was spared as compared to other areas, especially the north of Italy. From what I remember from the last numbers, I think we had in Umbria less than 1,400 cases, and I think less than 60 people died.
Okay, great.
That's
wonderful.
Yes, and the situation is improving. So it seems that next week a number of businesses, factories, activities will be reactivated, or they will resume their normal activities. But we don't know yet when we will be able to gather as churches. I suppose not before the month of June.
Okay.
And maybe even later, but it's too early to know.
What has been the reaction of your neighbors and the people that you have contact with? Has this been an open door for you during this time to share the gospel? Do you find that people are thinking more about death? And I guess we're all thinking about it more, but specifically, do you think it's made people more open or more closed?
For Easter, after we had our online meeting, our neighbors here invited us. So they invited us to celebrate Easter together, three families.
Nice.
And these two other families know that I am a pastor and that we are Christians. So I asked them if I could share with them a reading from the Bible and pray with them. So I read from Philippians 2, 1 through 11. I spent maybe 3-4 minutes saying something about, Christ's humiliation and exaltation. And we pray together the Lord's Prayer.
Wow, that's a neat opportunity.
And, they are nominally Roman Catholic. That's why I suggested to pray together the Lord's Prayer.
Yep.
And they listened, they say thank you. And so, but generally speaking, I don't know if people are more ready than usual to think about spiritual matters. My impression is that in Italy, generally speaking, and as in the rest of Europe, secularism is so strong that people are very, very hardened to the gospel.
Well, we'll need to be praying that the Lord really uses this this difficult time for Italy afterwards as an open door to bring the gospel, to preach the gospel, and we'll be praying for you in that. Thank you so much. This has been great. Just a beginning, perhaps. If you want to know more about Andrea's work, you'll have to go down to Perugia and visit him yourself. They're great hosts. I've been there. So thank you so much, Andrea.
Thank you, Rich. And the Lord may continue to bless your work.
Thank you.